Welcome to This Is Football. Welcome to This Is Football. A special episode here. We have Kevincho from Kevincho TV. Everybody knows him on Twitter, Mr. Controversial, Mr. Videos, you know, Mr. Reels.
Controversial, huh?
Well, we're gonna talk a little bit about that because there's been a little bit of controversy about who the real soccer capital of the United States is, and that's something that we definitely want to talk about since Kevin is from Kansas City, and there's a lot of rumblings about that. But welcome to the show, Kevin. It's a pleasure
Thank
to have
you.
you.
No, thank you. Thank you guys for reaching out. I mean, for the most part, like anytime someone asks me like, "Hey, would you want to do an interview?" A lot of the times I'm going in blind. Like I'm like, "Yeah, let's do it." I have no idea what we're going to talk about, but no, I'm really excited to be on here because I kind of already know the topics we're going to talk about, and there's just some topics I like to talk about. So I'm really happy to be here.
Definitely.
So
Absolutely.
excited.
Plus, look, you got an Argentinian in Nico, you got a Uruguayan and me.
Yes, we
So
got
I mean,
Argentinian and then wannabe Argentinian. I mean, come on.
there you go. There you go. There you go. That's all right. You want to say that, but the mate originated in Uruguay.
Nah,
and
you
I
guys
mean,
are
I don't
really
know.
good
I
at
mean, I don't
Uruguay.
know. Right here, we're drinking one. I don't know about
That's
you, Danny. But
right.
I had
That's
mine
right.
this morning.
Yeah, I had mine earlier too. I was actually thinking, I was like, is it going to be too far if I bring one in? But now that I see you were using it, damn, I should have brought mine.
yeah,
Should've,
yeah.
yeah.
Whatever you do, Kevin, whatever you do, don't mention any of the World Cup stars on this show.
Okay.
Because,
Leave
because
them out.
yeah, leave that out because Uruguayans, they
Uh-huh.
come out here and they bring in the prehistoric World Cups that they have won. We don't want to get into that topic.
Yeah, that's for another day. They'll say they have 4 World Cups. We'll fight it. You know, we don't have
Yeah,
enough time today to get
no,
into that.
no,
No.
definitely not.
We've had enough chats about that in our WhatsApp chats.
I believe that.
To talk
Daily
about it.
chat, daily.
Every day. Hey, good morning. We have 4 World Cups. Maybe one day Argentina gets their fourth. I could already see that.
Yep, yep.
Honestly, it kind of works like something like that. There's
Yeah.
usually one of the 6 Uruguayans in the chat, and that's how we say good morning every morning. So you have
That's
just so you have
awesome.
the gist of how it is. So, all right.
Yeah.
So let's get a little bit into really the main topic of the soccer capital of the U.S. because that's really what's been kind of been talked about lately over the last couple of weeks. We've seen some rumblings. Sporting Kansas City filed a lawsuit against the Soccer Capital podcast over in St. Louis, and so we've seen a lot of back and forth. I'm curious. I live in Miami. Nico lives in Miami. Who nominated Kansas City the soccer capital of the United States?
Hey, here's the confusion for me because look, I'm also a transplant to Kansas City, right? So like I grew up in Kansas, but I feel like I was even surprised when I would see people when I was younger. Let's say I started watching the league in like 2012. All right, even my older brothers or my older brother was very serious on like, hey Kevin, there's only one league in the world, and that's the league in Argentina. We don't care about anything else. And then when I started growing up, I'm like, okay, I really would like to have more than just one team. I'm here. I would like to support someone else. So Kansas City Sporting was the closest team to me. They just rebranded. They got their own stadium. I'm like, all right, this is my new club. Let's go. And even then, I remember hearing, hey, soccer capital. We're the hub of soccer in the U.S. And I just kind of thought, all right, I guess we are. I have no idea why. And then, yeah, future like years down the road, the U.S. men's national team plays here or trains here. The women's as well. We have facilities here. So in my head, I think that's why.
Yeah.
But if we're being historic, I love history. And I think technically, if we want to be serious, I think St. Louis is the soccer capital. The only reason why a lot of us haven't heard of it is because one, they don't have an MLS team or they didn't. So that's probably why. To me,
Right.
and I'm sure we're going to get into it, the whole thing is an embarrassment. One, two, not a surprise to me. When I heard it, I'm like, been there, dog. I understand. So I feel for St. Louis fans, even though that's like the new rival for us or whatever. We're supposed to hate each other, but no, I was totally on board with them. I'm on your team, guys. Trust me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Who would you consider the rival prior to St. Louis? Was it Chicago?
No, so weird. Another one that's kind of random, but for Sporting Kansas City, it's Real Salt Lake. The reason why
So
is
damn far.
so far it has nothing to do with distance. It actually we've played them in several cups, and we had an MLS Cup final against them. It was heated. It was a lot of controversial calls, a lot of fouls, a lot of big stuff happened. And ever since then, it's just always been like that, the little brother, big brother, we hate each other. And for the most part, we would fight each other in the playoffs and stuff like that. So that was like the natural rival, I guess. And then this one, because it's Kansas, Missouri, and another Missouri team, everyone's like, well, we have to be rivals now. I mean, right? We have to hate each other. So we'll see, though. We play each other 3 times this year. I'm hoping it's heated. I hope we have a real rivalry. If it's not there, it's not there. But I think that this started it for sure.
Yeah, and from what we're seeing this season, I don't know if it's going to be good for you guys.
No. We're losing all 3, but hopefully we keep it kind of close. I don't know.
Well, you don't know that because the MLS is so hot and cold. I mean, look at Inter Miami. We win 2 in a row. We look like we're on a hot streak. We lose Gregory, and now we lost 3 in a row, and it's a complete disaster. So who knows?
Yeah.
Somebody could go down for St. Louis, and it could completely turn around. And
the Brazuca doesn't play. We got a chance, baby. Let's go.
So for those of you that obviously that are joining in and listening, Kevin and I and Nico were having a chat before we started recording, and I was letting Kevin know I played my college soccer out in Kansas City, and it's interesting now. I'll weigh in a little bit on the soccer capital of the world. So I went to college out in Kansas City back in 03, 04 until about 06, and I don't remember hearing anything about Kansas City being the soccer capital of the world, of the U.S. Was there a lot of soccer being played in the Midwest? Absolutely. Definitely a lot more than what I saw in South Florida at the time. I mean, there's soccer all over in the Midwest, so definitely the Midwest is very heavy in soccer. But soccer capital of the U.S., I don't know, man. I'm with you. I tend to lean over to St. Louis. Just historically, but look, the men's have training facilities down here in Orlando as well. So do the women. So maybe Orlando is the soccer capital of the U.S. You don't know.
No way, Orlando is the Mickey Mouse capital, dude.
That too, that too.
But it's the same argument. I mean, I don't get it, and that's what makes it even more embarrassing. It's like, I'm not gonna pretend I'm a lawyer. I don't know if you guys are secretly lawyers, but I get the trademark thing. They have a trademark, and then you have to send it. Hey, we could lose our trademark, so we have to, file disputes or whatever. But it's like, dude, they had like 800 followers. Nobody cared about this, respectfully. Like no one cared, and now it's a big thing. Now everyone's bringing it up. Now I got friends that didn't even really care about sporting. They're like, oh, dude, how could your team not me, okay? I'm not Mr. Sporting. I'm not the president or the front office. I would never do that. But back right when I started streaming, they did the same thing to me. Which here's the thing. Here's the controversy was I had a channel named SKC Fan TV before I went to Kevincho, and I streamed for like 3 months, and then I got an email saying, hey, we love what you're doing, but we might have a problem because you're using our IP and you're using SKC Fan TV. And I was like, that name, legally I could use that. I mean, SKC can mean whatever I want. No, like that's, I'm not saying Sporting Kansas City. And I got a kind of a weird response. And then I'm like, all right, I'm not gonna argue. I'm not gonna get into anything. I'm just gonna change my name. So it didn't get into, I didn't get the cease and desist email. I got the one right before. And so when I saw this, like I said, I wasn't shocked. I was just, I don't know what's going on.
But it goes back to our roots, as US fan base, going back to the Greg Berhalter and Reina thing, we love to make scandals. So.
Oh yeah, I think if this didn't happen, there's gonna be a rivalry, but there's no real beef. Now I hope the Tifo says soccer capital, big ass letters, whatever.
Is the first game in St. Louis or
I think it is St. Louis is the first one. So
wow, all right, ooh, that was gonna be good.
Yeah, we're dead.
How do you feel about Kansas City this year? Overall.
What makes this year worse than last year was the way we ended last year. We actually looked okay. We barely missed the playoffs, but we had like the biggest turnaround. We went from one of the worst teams in the league, then the second half of the season, like second highest scoring team. And I don't even, did I lose you guys?
No, you're good.
No, you're good.
Okay. I thought I lost you guys, but I don't know. I thought, okay, coming into this new season, we're going to destroy. We're going to score a crazy amount of goals. We might not be good in defense, but you score 2, we score 3, that type of thing. No,
Right,
we
right.
start the season. We lose our first game, then we draw the next game, then we lose the next one, and then we get destroyed by a guy that like half the country hates and thinks that he should never play for the U.S. men's national team. He scores 4 on us, and now they're like, maybe he should play for the national team. I don't know. So I don't know. It's just not a good start. I think this season, I don't want to say it's over, but if Alan Pulido doesn't play, if we don't have a defense anymore, guys, we might be fighting for a spoon. I feel it. I don't
Hey,
know.
you still got Graham Susi over there, so there's something
Hey,
there's something to
Jesus.
be happy about.
Jesus.
the first game I ever watched was in 2012, and fast forward to 2013 or 2023, we are what feels like the same team. We have the same music going into the stadium. We got the same everything, the same chants, the horrible, cringy chants from the early MLS days. We have the same ones. We have Graham Zusi, who was like the captain of the national team. We have Espinosa, who's still freaking here and starting. So I feel like in deja vu, everyone's getting better and getting better teams and better players, and we're in the same spot. It's horrible. And so now I'm like, I'm watching your guys' team, I'm watching everyone else's team, and kind of being a little fanboy for everyone else, and praying every Saturday that we do something.
Well,
But
Yeah, you gotta be like me,
Nico,
man. I'm an MLS guy. I just
yeah, Nico
go for
claims
the
himself as
29 teams.
a West Coast guy, so he has the West Coast teams.
the good West Coast teams.
Right,
okay,
not
like
even the
what?
bad ones. He says he goes for LAFC.
LAFC,
Of
know,
course.
Seattle.
Okay.
We gotta represent Seattle as well.
Are you an Austin guy or?
Austin is it's
he
like
was
a hot
an
and
Austin
cold
guy
type.
until
It's
they
like a
lost
hot
to
and cold
Violet.
type of thing. They disappointed me. They disappointed me in the CONCACAF Champions League.
Yeah.
That was kind of embarrassing.
I
to
think
lose
they
against.
disappointed the whole league. So
Yeah,
I get that.
that was
I
brutal.
get it.
That was brutal.
And
That was brutal
what
to
do you
see that.
think about that? About these teams going in? Because I know that when they went over to play Violet, in that first leg, they took like a B team or a C team. Like, how do you feel? How do you personally feel about that? Like these teams, like essentially disrespecting an international tournament. Like,
Yeah, it's funny because like in Europe, they have, let's say England, the Premier League. You have like the FA Cup and the Carabao Cup or whatever, and sometimes you'll see teams, they'll put like their subs, they'll put their younger guys until a certain point. But we're talking about like a continental tournament. I know it's not the Champions League of Europe, but it's like our Champions League. You wouldn't take it seriously. So it's kind of funny that their first game, the coach is like, we're going to kill this team. So we're going to play so well. Let me put whoever the hell out and we'll be fine. And of course that didn't happen. And then they had to basically chase the game in Austin. So, and they couldn't. And the fact that they didn't score like 6-7 goals is still, I'm shocked.
It's mind blowing. Yeah,
it is mind blowing. It's kind of pretty badass for the Violet because everyone made fun of them. You look up the team, you can't even see their pictures of their faces. Some of their names don't exist. It's what a story.
That's like FAU making the Final Four this year.
Exactly. We got FAU. Exactly. Yes.
So I want to pivot. I want to pivot a little bit from MLS, and I want to go into a little bit from international because I want to know what Kevin felt watching the World Cup final. Argentina, France. Argentina goes up. Everything is. You're sitting pretty. You think you have it in the bag. Mbappe, the Ninja Turtle, comes back and puts a couple in the bag. What's Kevin feeling? Going into that 80th minute.
Man, that the first goal was the penalty, right? Was Messi scored a penalty, and I remember thinking I didn't even celebrate.
Just like every game, right? Just like every game.
Hey, calm down.
There you go.
No, the thing is, like, okay, we got a foul, perfect. Messi gets a penalty, no celebration. I was with my wife, and I purposely didn't want to be around people. I wasn't streaming. I went through a bad time in 2014, around like 3,000 people. I was in Miami. I was we were downtown Miami looking for some type of bar to go to and didn't really realize there's 500,000 Argentinians in Miami. So I couldn't get anywhere. We snuck in like a little pizzeria that had a TV and we were watching it there with thousands of Argentinians. And that day was one of the worst days. Obviously, we lose, and then everyone, then out of nowhere, there were Germans. I didn't even know there's Germans in Miami. Then people were out in the streets. I had some other.
Those were the Uruguayans or Brazilians
Hey,
that we
you
have
want to
around
hear
here.
something? They in the streets. So I was with my mom and my younger brother. We were walking back to our car or whatever, and there was a man and a woman, and they just said, better luck next time, and they kind of laughed, but they said it in Spanish while wearing a German jersey, and I remember like being like so like I turned purple when I heard it. I turned around and a Argentinian fan, this like a rugby player picture, was right behind us, and he like went crazy. I mean, he lost his mind. He like threatened the girlfriend. He's like, I'll make her a pancake on this cement. He lost his mind, thank God. And ever since that day, every final I want to be alone. Up until basically Copa America. Yeah, exactly. I straight up was like, I want to dig a hole and nobody bothered me. Okay, so Messi scores a penalty. No celebration. All Scaloni, serious. I don't care. It's not over. Then Di Maria, when he scored the second one, I swear to God, I started crying like you wouldn't even understand. It was like all the emotions finally came out. The horrible first game, the Copa America against Chile, and Chile again. And then I'm like, okay, this is it.
You're getting flashbacks. You started getting flashbacks.
Flying in my head. And then we go to halftime. And I remember my wife was like, okay, it's halftime. You remember what happened against Australia? We barely made it through that.
Oh, man.
She's
giving you reality checks.
She's telling me like, hey, it's not over. And I'm like, I know. All right, I know. So second half starts. And I don't know if you guys remember, but the start of the second half, we were still sexy. Scaloni ball, like possession. I'm like, oh, we're about to score. So
minute 75, I think.
Yes, the 75th minute. We looked like, oh my God. I even mentioned, I shouldn't have said this. Okay, just straight Mufa. I literally was like, hey, I think this might be the most boring final because we're about to score like 4 past these French people.
Yeah, and it looked like it.
It looked amazing. Then, of course, like you said, Ninja Turtle scored. The minute he scored, I literally texted. So my wife went to the bathroom. They scored. I was like, please come back down because Kylian just scored. It's going to happen. I have the text. I could send it to you guys. I literally said, it's happened. Her name's Julie. I said, Julie, it's happening. I just felt the second one's coming, and I even thought a third one was coming. And then, of course, we fast forward. The second one, golazo. What a first time boomba. And I'm like, okay, we're done. This is gonna. Then the all emotions started coming back out again. Di Maria was subbed. He's crying, and I'm like, no, it's happening again. It's gonna happen. They're gonna get a last minute a Gotze goal. Mbappe is gonna score some last second goal. It's over. We go to extra time. When Messi scored, dude, I've never screamed so loud, more than Di Maria goal against Brazil. I lost. I thought we won, dude. I was like, it's over now. Now we defend. Otamendi breaks some ankles, kill people. I don't care what we need to do. And then, the Montiel handball happened right at the end. And I was like laughing at that point, guys. I'm like, dude, we can't win a game normally. Argentina can never play just kill a team. After Croatia, I thought, yes, this is how you play football. This is football. This is football. But now we're going to penalties. No shot we win. In my head, even though we had Diu and all that, I just thought it had to end bad. Always. I always think it has to end bad.
Because it's always ended bad.
It's always ended bad.
In our lifetime.
Yeah, in our lifetime. Yeah. I can't talk to my uncle and be like, oh, what was it like when Diego? No, I want to feel our own Diego moment, our own, 86 moment. And when God, the only time I didn't celebrate in the first, so Messi took it, didn't celebrate. Kylian scored, and we started going back and forth. I didn't celebrate until the second miss, when he just missed.
Tchouaméni.
Yeah, exactly. Yes, when he just completely missed. I'm freaking out. We're winning the World Cup. I mean, come on, you missed 2 penalties. We can't miss 3 now, please. And the greatest thing is, I don't know where you guys stand. I didn't do my research, but I'm a River Plate fan. And when I saw Montiel was next,
Oh,
I knew. I was like, the one guy that can
yeah,
score penalties.
yeah.
Montiel is the most
And he was brought
calm.
in for that.
Yeah,
Right.
exactly. And it's so perfect how it ended up him being the last one because they missed the two. It was the most unbelievable moment when it went in. I mean, I cried like crazy. My wife was like stuck. She's American, so even though I explain it, you try to tell her how
Yeah.
what it's like. You can't explain it, and I'm freaking out. My mom called me, like, dude, it was like the craziest feeling, and I remember thinking like, oh, now for the rest of my life we can suck, oh yes, I don't have to look at Twitter and refresh, Argentina's Twitter and see who's playing this game or who's injured, or is Garnacho gonna play for Argentina, or is he gonna play for Spain, or is Italy gonna steal this player or that play. No, I don't care anymore. You know what, next World Cup USA can win it. Anyone but the Brazucas in England, anyone else, you get, please just win. I'm totally fine. It was like the greatest weight lifted off my shoulders, and I'm not even a player.
Well,
It was
Yeah.
amazing.
well, that was Kevin's recap for those of you joining joining us on Spotify. That was Kevin's recap of how he spent the Argentina game. Which look, if I was in your shoes, I probably would have spent it the same way. I'm like you. I don't like to watch games with anybody.
Yeah.
Especially after the Uruguay Colombia game back in 2014. We watched it in a place with a bunch of Colombians, and not a good place.
No.
2018, I watched every game by myself. I invite Nico over for the Uruguay France game. Of course,
And boom.
boom, we lose. And I'm like, you got to be kidding me. So I will never watch a game with anybody else ever again. Nico
Yeah.
ruined it for everybody. So I do
La
now want to
Mufa.
transition
Yeah.
to something that you just mentioned. River Plate is your
Uh-huh.
favorite team. And I want to throw up an image up here. And for those of you, I'll explain the image. For those of you listening to us on Spotify, I'll throw up the image. The image is of Marcelo Gallardo, which is the former coach of River Plate. And he's wearing a Club Nacional de Fútbol jersey because he was a former Club Nacional de Fútbol player, and he was his first ever coaching job was for Club Nacional de Fútbol. For those of you that are not aware,
Did he
that's
actually
in
retire
Uruguay.
there? Did he actually retire in Nacional as well?
He
as a
did
player?
retire. He did retire as a
Oh,
player in
right.
Nacional, and then he became the coach in Nacional. So I want to put this up there as a reminder that El Muñeco Gallardo got his. Not only did he retire in Uruguay, but he got his start as a coach in Uruguay. And those championships, those Copa Libertadores,
So
and those
we're gonna put the
championships-
little stars that River got
Yeah.
Right.
win the
They go up.
Libertadores. They're gonna go to Nacional as well, Kevin.
Of
Oh,
course.
okay, got it. That I see it
Because
now. I see
that's
the
how,
line.
that's how it works, In Uruguay, that's how it works.
Nacional doesn't need a coach. He's chilling. Marcelo's
We
needs
do.
a team.
Well,
Hey.
we don't. We did. We actually just had Zielinski, who was the coach of Estudiantes de La Plata.
Right. Yeah.
And we just threw him out because he.
So let me say this: if Marcelo goes to Real Madrid, they win a Champions League. What are you gonna say? All because of you guys, Real Madrid got
I'm
their
just
20th
saying-
Champions League.
I'm just saying he got
That's
his
exactly what he's gonna say.
He got his start in Uruguay.
Or PSG. If PSG,
Right.
if Marcelo goes to PSG and they win a Champions League, he's gonna say that the reason why they did it is because he started in Nacional.
Well,
That's-
naturally, I would hope for him to be the coach of Uruguay. That's my favorite, to be the coach of Uruguay. That's what I would love. I think his
How are you gonna
knowledge
pay him?
of the game.
How are you guys gonna pay him with mates and dulce de leche?
That's fine, bro. We'll give him some lands out somewhere in Rocha with some cows. It doesn't matter, bro.
hey.
We'll figure something out, man. If we can figure out a way to get Messi into, to get all the teams in the MLS to pay for Messi to come play here, I'm sure Uruguay can figure out a way to get some money for Gallardo to go coach them.
No chance.
No
No.
chance.
Well,
I
what do
think club first. He wants. It would be so cool, just selfishly, to see him in a European club. Give him some time there. Eventually, going to a national team. But if you do that, he's going to Argentina, baby. Scaloni, he's not going to be here that long. I think Scaloni's got he signed a new contract, right? So whatever.
2026. After 2026, he's gone.
Okay, there you go. Look, give Marcelo some time. Win 3-4 Champions Leagues, and then he comes, and then he comes back.
Oh, we'll see.
man.
We'll
see.
definitely see about that. What do you think though about talking about that about the next U.S. men's national coach? What do you think about Anthony Hudson currently and possibly the U.S. making a splash, because we're talking about making a splash on coaching signings? Who do you think could be at splash for the men's coaching signing coming up in the next, for this cycle?
Well, we are seeing some of the craziest names, like Mourinho, Thierry
All over the
Henry.
place.
I
All
mean,
over the place.
are they just picking random
You
people
go.
now?
You're going from Jesse Marsh, Jim Curtin to Thierry Henry, Patrick Vieira, Mourinho, Conte.
Yeah.
I'm like, are we actually going to choose a style of play or
Yeah, that's
throwing
the
out
thing.
names?
I think, look, I've followed the U.S. I'm not like religiously following, but from what I've talked to fans, like USA fans that are just like 100% USA, like I am, like with the national team with Argentina, and it seems like they don't want another ex MLS coach. They don't want they think a lot of people that I talked to, they liked what Greg did up until this point, and now it's a good time to have something fresh, something new. I don't like. I mean, we might be on the same page with the Gio Reyna thing. I feel bad for him. I'm sorry, Greg, not Gio. I feel bad for Greg just because, like the dude did pretty well. I mean, they dominated Mexico. It was like this region. It was like USA and Canada for the first time in a long time, and they win Gold Cup, and then they go to the World Cup, and finally after not going to the last World Cup. So I think he did his job. Now moving on, if we get like a I can't even picture Mourinho coming here. Are you kidding me? I would love it just for the memes and for the I don't know, but we don't want drama. You would think if I'm Team USA fan and I just want my team to do well, I don't want a hothead like Conte or a Mourinho, which you could have him say whatever the hell he wants to say in a press conference. You want guys that are like fundamental coaches that are they're just going to bring the team. We have the talent. You just need someone to push them in the right direction. We have so many young guys that are like popping off in Europe.
But you wouldn't feel like those guys, like for example, Conte would bring that extra pressure to the players to actually perform, because I feel like they're very the US players are a little bit complacent when it comes to them. Like they dominate CONCACAF, but what we saw in the World Cup wasn't the team that we were seeing in the last 3 years. When they played England, they tied, they did okay, but they could have done better, especially against Netherlands. I felt like that was a really, really bad performance.
Well, and even against Wales, they tied against Wales. I mean, really, the only one they got was against Iran, if you really look at it. And to me, that's not a successful World Cup. It's an okay World Cup, but I think with the players that we had, the talent that we had on the roster, we could have definitely had a much better showing and definitely gone further.
And that's my take. Like if we bring a type of coach that is strong, is vocal, maybe that adds that pressure into those players to actually say, oh shit, like I need to perform, because if not, this guy's out the window.
That's why I think the Gio Reyna stuff and having let's say we keep Greg and whatever. That's gonna look weird. I mean, we're gonna have awkward encounter. I mean, Gio's a great player. He's still a good player. And then you have Greg. I'm not saying he's a bad coach, but now it's like a confidence thing. Now it's like the coach should be like almost like dad, and he needs to, it's his way. That's it. And now you're going to see like people are going to behind the scenes, the players might lose respect or whatever. So it would make sense if we get a big name in here, people are going to be respecting them and whatever. But I don't want a show though. Like I don't know. I just have a feeling if we bring up Mourinho in, it's going to be, I don't know. I just don't feel like it's good.
So how about this name? And even though it's cooled down a little bit, it might be a good one. Marcelo Bielsa.
Oh, for me, I've been saying that for forever. And a lot of people are like, he doesn't speak English. It's not going to work, Kevin.
I mean, it worked in Leeds.
Hey, the freaking French coach or is he French for the Saudi Arabian team? I don't think he speaks anything but French and English, and he did well. I think.
Yeah, I don't think Jurgen Klinsmann speaks South Korean, and he's the coach for South Korea. So
exactly.
I mean, if
soccer has changed, man, it's not like it's not back in the 80s and 90s. Nowadays you have thousands of trainers, next to you.
I mean,
and
look
you can
at
hire
Brazil.
a translator.
Yeah, the Brazil's so scared and so in the mud that they're trying to get Real Madrid's coach, and who knows? Now it's not like you have to be from Brazil and be the coach of Brazil and whatever. Now, especially the US, we're like Mr. International, and of all the countries, who cares who's coaching us, or wherever they're from or whatever. But oh my God, if we have Bielsa in, everyone's gonna be throwing up from running so much. But I feel like it'd be great.
So just to wrap all this up, let's just throw a name out there. Just your candidate for U.S. men's coach for the next cycle. Who would it be?
God, out of if I could choose any coach
you want, any salary, anything, just name your coach. Who would you pick?
I think one coach that I talked to. I talked to a guy that was writing about the U.S. men's national team right before the World Cup. Okay, and he told me, after this World Cup, most likely we're gonna have a new coach. He asked the same question: who would you like? And I was just like, dude, like who's available, whatever. But after the World Cup, I completely changed my mind on how I see coaches. That coach for Saudi Arabia, I can't remember his freaking name right now, has completely
or something like that. Yeah?
Something, yeah, like that. Has changed how I see coaches and how I see how teams can be coached for World Cups. That's a team that doesn't have any big names and guys that are, we make jokes. They have like 2 jobs there, or, whatever. The guy like that, Renard, that's his name. Yeah. A guy like that, where it's just fundamental stuff, I would love to have. If that means him, let's go, baby. Another Saudi. Let's shock the world. Let's get his ass in here. I'm just more scared to name someone big and not have too much drama and get a headache.
Unfortunately, that guy's out of the picture now because he just got hired to coach the French women's team. So he loves to coach World Cups, man.
Yeah, that's damn. Well, that was my only one. I like Bielsa's cool. I'm the biggest because I'm a River fan. I try not to say this every time I ask this. Like people are like, "Who would you coach this team?" I'm like, Gallardo. Come on, he's the GOAT.
Yeah,
I mean, come on, he's
available.
Coach. He's available. Like you guys said, the language thing should not be a problem. Like it shouldn't be a talking point where they're like, well, no, they're not going to respect them. They will respect them. Plus, give a guy some a language coach. Let him learn a little bit of the English, even if he's rusty. Who cares? They'll understand. But it would be so cool to get a guy like that. Just no Mourinho and no like Conte. No, none of those guys, please.
Yeah. Before we let you go, Kevin, and thanks for being with us.
Sure. Yeah.
We talked yesterday. We had a live show, and we talked about an interesting topic. And with the guys, we were going back and forth with this, and I wanted to get your take on it. There was news that came out yesterday that said that the MLS as a whole, as a unit, would try to bring in Messi, and each team will have to pay a portion of his salary. What do you think about that? Especially because if Messi comes here, you already know where he's going. There's only one team. There's only one team where he actually wants to play.
Kansas City. That's right. No,
Not after what Peter Vermees said yesterday. I guarantee you that.
Oh man. That's another topic. That was disrespectful.
Sorry about that. Too soon.
It's always too soon. I'm not gonna get over that one. That hurts me. But okay, so I'll say this. There were mixed reactions I saw on Twitter. People are like, we cannot be a serious league if we're gonna all chip in and pay for Messi. Guys, listen to me right now. I would gladly, Sporting Kansas City, every team at MLS, divide it up, get this man here. He could put 10 goals in our net. I don't care. Do you understand, Major League Soccer, that this, and Major League Soccer fans, that this would be one of the biggest things in football history? We will have all the little Messi fanboys from around the world, people who follow him. I never watched PSG in my life, okay? I never watched him. And now, every weekend, I put on Bean Sport and watch French football. What the hell? I never did that. People are going to do the same thing. Apple TV, you can watch it anywhere in the world. You need to understand the amount of money. Every single one of your teams sold out stadiums everywhere. You know what? Let's cheat. Let's start playing in football stadiums. Pack it. 60,000 people. We want to see Messi, dude. So, in my opinion, I don't even think there's another opinion. If you're like, I need that $2 million to sign, just stop. We're going to divide it up. Messi comes to Miami. I will do whatever I need to do to be out there in South Beach. I will be the one sporting fan in the away stands just going nuts. It would be
let
the
me bring it
biggest
to
thing.
you.
Yeah,
They play
I
quite
know.
far.
I
from
know
South
they
Beach.
play far. I get. Hey, figure out the stadium, Miami. Okay, figure
Yes.
it out. But other than that,
It's coming. It's coming.
it's coming. Okay, fine, whatever. But look, I just don't get why people were so mad. Like, oh, the Portland Timbers would never, bro. You would pay that man to put 12 goals like in your stadium. Are you kidding me, dude? No, I don't get it.
You would pay triple what you pay for your season tickets just to see them on the field. So
Exactly.
don't tell me that, you know?
Such a lie. Like, and people are saying, oh, look, I don't think he comes to Miami and he like changes the league. He scores 50. The guy's 35 years old, dude. Like, he doesn't care. But what it's gonna do is just bring so much eyes on the league. I'm sad that I'm not a Miami content creator because, dude, you understand my TikToks, my streams, like the amount of people that are gonna watch if I was an Inter Miami fan, they would be like, I would say Messi's name and I would get 20,000 views in a second. You know what I mean? Like the guy just has a pull, just like Ronaldo and how he almost came to Kansas City, which is still unbelievable. But that would have been humongous. Like I could not stand.
But can
Ronaldo
you
fans,
imagine? But can you imagine Ronaldo living in Kansas City? I don't think so,
No.
man.
Hey,
dude, are you? I couldn't. No, hell no.
If Messi ends up coming, though, we might have an opening for a content creator. So we'll let you know. You know,
I'm fine. Trust me, guys, when I tell you, I'm not stuck here. Okay, this is not my River Plate. You understand what I'm saying? I was born into River Plate, and I die River Plate. You know, I see Boca fans in the street. Like, let's go, let's fight, dog. You know, Sporting Kansas City. I was adopted. You know, these are not my parents. I don't have a true bond with this team. You know, if Miami calls, I'll be. Hold on, give me a second. See? Okay, I'm there, baby. I'm in Miami. Okay, thank you. Be there soon. I'm in South Beach. Let's go.
all right, man. And on that note, you know, Kevin, let everybody know where they can find you. You know, that way
Yeah.
they can find you.
At the moment, Twitter is just at Kevincho_TV. YouTube, the same thing, Kevincho TV. And then TikTok is actually Kevincho_reacts. That's where I post all my.
And you also just started a new podcast.
Oh,
as well,
yeah,
right?
yeah. So
There you
we
go.
started. Me and my buddy Britton, he's a Charlotte fan, so we both know not good teams. But he and I started a little podcast talking MLS called the Bombasso Show. And same thing, Bombasso Show on everything. I don't even have to change any of that stuff. So, but yeah, that's where you can find me.
Awesome. So there you go. So thank you so much again, Kevin, for coming on. We really appreciate it. Go ahead and go follow all his social medias for both Kevincho TV and also the Bombasso channel. This is the This Is Football podcast. For Nico, I'm Danny. Once again, it's been awesome to have you on.
Thank
See
you
you guys later.